Hello, welcome to Binging the Force with Rocky Mountain Fan Force. Tonight, we're going to be watching Chapter 11 of Season 2, The Heiress, the first episode with Bo Katan in live action. And this is a very exciting time in the Star Wars universe, especially as we head, later into Season 2 and into Season 3. And this is a, introduction of some legendary Mandalorians that have been with us since the Clone Wars, and being part of the RMFF, I'm sure a lot of my fellow members have their new favorite Mandalorians out there. And for mine, it's Boba Fett, the original Mando. But Dale, what's your favorite Mandalorian?
I like Boba Fett, but specifically rocket firing Boba Fett from the little picture on the vintage action figure that never really came to be. So that's my favorite Mando tonight.
Nice. Oh, that's a good one, Dale. How about James? Who's your favorite Mando?
I would say, since I loved Rebels, probably Sabine. Very interesting character, right? We've kind of covered her in some of the animated stuff we've been watching. She's definitely my favorite.
Oh, yeah, and she's going to be making her live-action debut here in August with the Ahsoka series. I'm really excited
along with Chopper and the gang.
Yeah, excited. For sure. Emily, who's your favorite Mando? Being a young fan, what have you generated?
I generally don't know the names of most of the characters, but of the Mandalorians, I guess, that I know, I would probably choose Sabine.
Nice. That is another great character. I do love her colors on her armor. My daughters, especially Abigail, liked Sabine when she was watching the Clone Wars. Michael, how about you?
I'm going to go with the Armorer. I think new Mandalorians and new characters. I think the Armorer, over the course of all the seasons so far, has really distinguished herself as the leader and kind of the voice of authority and everything. And I really like the presence of that character.
Yeah, definitely. She was one of the first ones we saw in the Mandalorian, other than Mando. Yeah. And then definitely she still has a mystery to this day. Jefferson, what do you think?
I'm gonna go take us way back and go obscure, and I'm gonna go with Fen Shissa, who was a character from the old Marvel Star Wars comic book series.
Really?
And he turned up after Return of the Jedi in a duplicate of Boba Fett's armor, so they did sort of a mistaken identity story. But he turns out to be not really particularly villainous. And then later on, he comes back as a rival for Princess Leia's affections, a rival with Han Solo.
Nice.
And it was a neat way for them to get the character in the comic without having the character in the comic, because Boba Fett was officially dead at that time, so they couldn't use him, but they did something that was kind of more fun. They gave you a Boba Fett that you didn't know anything about, and he could be whatever they wanted him to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I liked Jodo Cast. I remember him. He was sort of had Boba Fett looking armor, but it was, instead of reds, it was oranges and stuff like that. He was always an interesting character, I thought. But always loving Boba Fett though, ever since back in the day. So.
I'm going to mention just quickly my ever-changing backgrounds. I have my background set up a little bit differently just because my kind of filming setup here, Lily was using it yesterday, and she was doing an online class of people meeting from her favorite book series. So do you want to say what this background is from your favorite book series and what it is?
The background is the cover of my favorite Wings of Fire book because it has my favorite character in it. The name of the character of the dragon right there, her name is Moonwatcher, and the name of the book is Moon Rising.
Interesting. And it's actually like a whole series of novels where the dragons are the actual characters, right?
Yeah.
Really?
There's only one book where it's from the point of view of humans.
Yeah, very popular YA series, I guess.
Nice. Neat.
Cool. The art reminds me of Magic the Gathering. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool.
All right, ready to watch the episode?
Ready to jump into it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, previously on. This is the way. Previously on The Mandalorian.
Stuff you need to know to understand today's episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the evil baby Yoda.
Michael, you may want to avert your eyes here.
Oh,
Because
good point.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, it's not yet there yet. We're seeing the ice planet part.
We'll tell you when.
If
There
you
we go. Crash.
The only thing worse than producing an episode using that episode was editing an episode using that episode. So actually, Lily had to help me. Yeah, Lily had to help me get the episode that posted on YouTube on Monday, where I had to replace the live video with the still images. So Lily actually had to help out with that.
Yeah, I had to do the shots during the things parts.
Much appreciated.
Good of you to step up.
Yep.
All right, it's passed. Mando is safely
Oh yeah, Mando's
off his ice planet.
It's a miracle that ship is holding together.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we start here. Is it's literally minutes, or starting almost immediately after the end of that episode, where the ship is barely functional.
Yeah.
But he still had a job to do and still has money to make.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a rough galaxy out there.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm. Hardworking man's got to do what a hardworking man's got to do.
Yeah. And the other clip they showed besides that episode was season 1, where the armorer does hint at finding other or not necessarily finding others, but the rules of the Mandalore,
Right.
and not taking off your helmet.
Right. And
It's
the
like
fact
that's an odd reference.
that there are other people outside of their sect. Yeah.
So the planet we're going to, is this Mon Calamari? Because I know it's like a Aquaria, type of
The
planet.
water planet. Yeah.
Yeah, a water planet, right?
I'm
Yeah,
not
there
sure
are Mon
what it is.
Calamari on the planet, but I don't know if it's the actual home planet.
We saw I thought we saw that Mon Cal planet in Clone Wars, and it
We
had
did.
a different look to it. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when they fought like the shark people or something.
Right, right.
It looks like we made it. Get ready for landing. And his favorite curse, Dank Ferric.
Oh, I love this character, the
Are we
frog
gonna-
lady.
Do we drink
the
every
frog
time
lady.
there's a Dank Ferric? Because
I love the frog lady.
Does
The true question is, am I allowed to say it?
Yes.
Mhm.
You can say frack too if you want.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay.
So these shots here with the ship falling towards the surface is supposed to be like a tribute to similar shots in Apollo 13, directed by Ron Howard. This was a scene and whole episode directed by his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So another good
That makes
reason to have my
sense.
redhead daughter on the episode here. Yeah, Lily obviously is interested whenever there's strong female characters involved.
And the frog lady's getting nervous with Grogu back there. Might have a snack again.
Yep, there's the Mon Calamarian.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think probably it doesn't necessarily mean it's their planet. It just means that they're the people who you'd want doing stuff there.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would gravitate to water planets.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, and you have the squid-headed dudes on here. I can't remember their names. And
Warren.
lady.
Yeah. So the shots there with that Mon Calamari is definitely the weirdest casting or weirdest Easter egg of the week. So the actress Janina Gavankar, who played Iden Versio in Battlefront, she came on as a puppeteer and she moves his nostrils right there. That shot, like she's not credited, but like
Interesting.
So you can spot her nostril technique a mile off. Is that what you're
I
saying?
don't know. It was like the weirdest thing. They were like, "Hey, do you want to come control this guy's nostrils?" And she said
Well,
yes.
who would say no to that?
Right.
Hey, I told you. I wonder how much she got paid for it. Like a couple $1,000s or something.
The Razor Crest is not looking very
Yeah,
good.
it is. It is
Doesn't
not
look
having
good.
its best day here.
Seen better days.
Sure.
Yeah.
Quite a piece of junk at this point.
Yeah.
It's both convenient and awesome that they have those big gantry cranes to.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to
Lift
say
that out of the water.
It looks like an AT-AT, but
You
basically,
couldn't have set it down gentlier.
Right.
I mean, it's
That's a
basically
great shot,
with an
though.
offshore oil platform built on top of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was a great shot of them dropping the ship, just the way it kind of bounces when they let it go. It looks really realistic.
Right. That they're not getting paid to care about dropping it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you fix it? Nah, but I can make it fly.
There's no fixing this thing.
I'll fuel it up. He's not too.
I'll fuel it up if it'll still hold fuel.
Yeah.
And so she's looking. So this is the successful completion of his mission.
Yes.
Bringing her back to her spouse.
And we're Frogman.
Yep. All the Quarrens and
This is a very touching moment.
Frog Dad.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Yay.
Reunion.
Oh, yay.
It's a
We
hallmark.
need some dramatic music here. They should put something in there.
Super exciting.
Eat the fish eggs.
Slow-mo.
What happened? Where are the rest of our eggs?
Yeah.
The baby's
It's
alive.
alive.
40.
What happened to 3/4 of our eggs?
I ate them.
Yeah, that's what happened to them.
Mhm.
Oh.
Frogman.
Frog.
And now the frogman tries to kill the baby for eating their eggs.
Yeah, it looks at him like, yeah, you.
Because they could probably smell the eggs on his breath.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't seem too broken up about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, their race will survive.
Oh, so
now,
that
I
was
guess,
that was
at
the
least.
additional payoff was
They're-
that he was supposed to be able to lead him to others of his kind.
Mhm.
Ooh, mysterious person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember her name. I almost said her as my new favorite Mando,
Oh yeah. I do forget.
but I couldn't remember the character name. I know the actress is actually a WWE wrestler.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
she actually has like multiple names. She has her actual given name, her actress name, and her wrestling name.
Yeah.
I wonder if she gets confused.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when
Yum, yum.
The Rock started being mainstream movies.
Right.
He was Dwayne Johnson, so it was weird. So for her, she's not cast as Sasha Banks. She's in the credits as Mercedes.
Right.
Right.
They didn't want the wrestling name.
Yeah, I know this because I actually went to try to book her for my convention.
Oh,
Nice.
I can't afford her.
How about Squid Head Lady? Bring her in.
Outer. Ooh, I wouldn't call that. Ew, that stuff looks nasty.
yeah. I'd say it's more gruel, right? The way it's
Yeah,
watered
it's-
down that much.
Mhm. So the point of the scene though is that they're reinforcing the idea that he never takes his helmet off.
Yeah.
Just for you who haven't been watching the whole series, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Mm.
following the strict rules of Mandalorian culture.
Others with Beskar have been through here.
I wonder if it's fish flavored.
I
I was thinking more of like a chowder, maybe.
mean, it's
Right.
it's gruel one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They call it chowder, but I don't think you need the spoon. I mean, you can just slurp that sucker down.
The smell.
Give him a
of
straw.
that food, that's so great.
Ooh.
He doesn't look very excited about eating that stuff.
Well,
Well,
and
does Grogu even know how to use a spoon? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go. The chowder's alive.
Yeah. He's like, what do you have in an egg? That's what I'm looking for.
When your food tries to eat you,
he just kills it.
it just casually stabs the thing.
that puppet is just ridiculous.
The cat's cuter.
Squid face.
All right, so
Good
now
guy.
he's getting his mission for this episode.
Wow, yeah. Other than getting his ship flyable again.
Right.
It's weird that like the bartender guy is like in on this scam with the Quarren.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because they're traditional enemies in the lore.
right,
But maybe by this point they've gotten over it.
right. And you have like a lot of like fishing tourists that come by and you just pull scams on them to
Mm-hmm.
rip them off.
This looks like an episode of Deadliest Catch, kind of when I
It
first saw it.
does.
It's like, where's the grumpy captain at?
Yeah, it's definitely a different type of episode. This whole thing taking place on a boat and the
Yeah.
water and everything.
The
Very
color
unique.
palette is really different. Usually the
totally.
backgrounds are usually either brown or green.
And I'm assuming they probably built this deck and then it's in the what you call it?
The volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be on a gimbal or something to move around a little bit or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
There is a cat.
it's pretty darn convincing as a real ship with the wider shots
Yep.
though.
Totally.
I love this part coming up. It happens so fast. Like,
Yes.
Like,
Looking
what?
for it.
She must be hungry.
yeah.
Who is she? As long
Yeah,
as
this was a surprising scene the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Wait a minute.
I love how he
jumps
hits the
right
button.
in. Just the whole Mandalorian just doesn't think about it for a second. Jumps right in, which they knew he would do.
And end of series.
Yeah.
Now, why is he having a hard time breathing here? Isn't his suit sealed?
Well, maybe he has to get the seal first before he goes in.
Oh, okay.
And I don't
Might be a guess.
I don't know that they've established that the suit has breathing apparatus.
Because, well, in a minute when they come in to help him.
Yeah, when they take theirs off, you hear them like depressurizing.
Yeah, there's a seal.
Right.
Yeah.
So it might be sealed against gas and stuff, but that doesn't mean it has an air supply.
Maybe he should have planned ahead if he's going to be out in the sea. He should seal it.
Yeah. He wasn't expecting to get fed to a giant squid monster.
Yeah.
And that's on him. He should have.
Yeah.
Who knew he would turn out to be Boba Fett?
Yeah. And they just expected the weight of his armor was going to cause him to sink.
And who is that?
It's our hero.
Do we recognize her voice? So remind me, when this originally aired, was Katee Sackhoff a surprise, or did we know ahead of time?
I think they'd announced it in advance. I think there'd been there'd been notices and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard anything about it, but it was a surprise to me. This whole when they showed up like this, that was pretty cool.
I don't think we knew where in the season it was going to happen, but the fact that she was going to come back and reprise in live action her role from the animated show, that was something that wasn't known.
Yeah. The other Night Owls, that their roles were not announced ahead of time.
Right.
Even
I don't really pay that much attention to online news, so it probably was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Oh man, he lucked out there. His little pod saved that little guy.
I've been searching for more of our kind.
I know they talk about Hugh Jackman playing the same character over so many years, but this is for the Star Wars equivalent. I guess the OT to sequel actors would be the same thing. Characters spread out over the years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, see, he's like, "Where did you get that armor?" And she's like, "We're Mandalorians."
I kind of like this because
he's one of them. I like that. Like he's one. Are you kidding me? He's one of them. Yeah. So this is when we kind of pay off that whole thing that we've been establishing of them as this weird separate clan, as having this, because it's so different than what we covered in the Clone Wars, since we just went through, Clone Wars and Rebels and showed a whole different way of being a Mandalorian that we've just spent 2 months kind of going through on our show. And now there's this whole payoff to they're weird.
Do you guys think it's fascinating that he has no idea that he's in this Child of the Watch? Like, he doesn't know. He thinks he's a legit Mandalorian.
Right. He thinks what he is a Mandalorian, that they're the wrong thing.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of contact, I guess. Right.
Yeah. Well, you got to think he wasn't born on Mandalore.
Right.
Bo Katan is from Mandalore itself. Yeah. And he was on a moon, and maybe that moon was radicalized.
Well, he was born on. I believe he was born on Concordia, and that was where the Watch or whatever was formed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I wonder if at some point we might find out that this whole thing was the armor, that the armor is basically a cult leader.
Oh, she's absolutely a cult leader.
Yeah, and it definitely inculcated this whole ethic into this specific group, Wanting to, but it was just this thing that she came up with that is not, it's not a Mandalorian thing. It's a, she came up with this and found, basically thought it was the way to save her people, Yeah.
I think that's absolutely what is going on, and the reason he wouldn't know about any of the other Mandalorians is because that's what cults do. They don't.
Exactly. Yeah. She did not want them to know about other Mandalorians or other ways of doing things,
Exactly.
So there could be a whole prequel series about him growing up and being indoctrinated into the cult, but that sounds a little grim. I don't know.
But I think we've seen it because we've seen, we've seen flashbacks to him being brought in and his ceremony, and this is in a future season, but we've seen kids being brought into it and basically being raised from a specific age to have this ethic, but it's something that she instills in them. It's something that she teaches them.
Exactly. I've heard people theorize that there's some relationship to her and Darth Maul. Since I know Darth Maul was in charge of Mandalore there for a little while. But I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, definitely during Clone Wars, there was definitely a period of years, or at least a longer period, where he.
Well, and she does have the spikes on her helmet, so it could be some reference there.
Yeah. Anyone who goes there dies. The planet is cursed. Everything that he's been raised to be taught that. He doesn't know Mandalore as like a paradise and a planet where people lived and the society happened and everything. He just knows it as this negative thing.
Well, this conversation is set up for season 3. I mean,
yeah, totally, big time.
Right, and it's just interesting to see him finally kind of realize that there's a whole bunch of stuff that he hasn't been told about.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about in a previous episode the fact that the way Bo Katan is portrayed here. The actress is in her late 30s, early 40s at this point, but the character has got to be in her late 50s, early 60s.
Sure.
Yeah.
But and we have no idea because we've never seen her without her helmet. We have no idea how old the armor is. The armor could be 90.
Right, but aging in Mandalorians could be different than humans, right?
Yeah, we talked about that before. That clearly that's what's going on since Bo Katan looks pretty much the same.
Well, it's possible.
She did 30 years ago, or she has a magnificent skincare regimen.
Yeah, we have no idea how old the armor is. The armor could be 90.
Right.
The armor could be like 200 or something.
Sure.
In Star Wars, anything's possible.
Whatever the script demands.
Right.
Exactly. He's as old as we need her to be.
Yeah, bottom line, Bo Katan looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Katee Sackhoff.
So I think she's, unless I'm forgetting someone, she's one of only 2 actors from the animated series who's going to be playing or who has played their live action version.
Right. Her and Thrawn.
Her and Thrawn. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
Well, I know David Tennant is
the robot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just as the voice of one of the droids. But yeah, in terms of going from an animated version of a human face to a live action version of that same actor,
Right.
Chopper, you could count Chopper in that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Chopper looks pretty much.
Yeah, mind your manners. Don't eat them.
Maybe they'll recast Chopper.
Oh, Grogu, you're such a bad kid.
Yes. He's got an affinity for those eggs.
Frog people, tadpoles.
Yeah. He's like, now I'm going to eat the frog person.
Yeah, now he's like calamari, yeah.
Frog.
This is cool. I have a model of that spaceship for the X-Wing game.
Nice.
It's nice to see them use all these designs from the other media on the show.
And it's supposed to be a freighter, right?
Well, there's a couple different versions of it. The one I have it carries TIE fighters, so it's supposed to have 4 TIE fighters underneath it.
Okay.
But then they use them for other stuff too. But yeah, sort of a carrier freighter kind of thing.
Gotcha. Those troopers like pirates. It's like he wishes they were pirates, but it's probably worse.
Here's our semi-obscure celebrity guest star for this week, Titus Welliver.
Oh wow!
Also from Deadwood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched Bosch, but I definitely remember him being on Deadwood.
I always think of him from Lost. That's I think was my first cognizant kind of memory of him was from Lost.
This is another great hallway scene coming up.
Yeah, this is pretty great. This is I love Bryce Dallas Howard's ones she's directed. They've been really great.
Yeah, she has proven herself to be a very, very, very capable action director.
They need to maybe give her a movie or a full show.
Totally.
Yeah.
This is nice too because it's bringing us into very familiar Star Wars territory of gray corridors with stormtroopers running around.
Yeah.
They still haven't improved their fighting ability.
Their aim.
Yep.
They are definitely quantity over quality.
Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely not wearing Beskar.
No.
Now we have talked about this. Have we established are the other Mando's armor Beskar? Is all Mandalorian armor Beskar? Or
to some extent. So Mando's armor is pure Beskar. So that's why it's reflects off like lightsabers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it depends on the purity of the Beskar.
The metallurgy. Yeah.
So they may have
What's next
basically they could be wearing Beskar alloy, like Beskar with other stuff in their armor.
Yeah. And if you remember back to Mando season 1 when he goes against the Mudhorn, it's all sort of jacked up, right? And you look inside, there's a lot more like electronics. It's more fragile, right, than his current armor is.
Yeah, because it seemed like a really big deal when the pirates, found out that he was wearing Beskar and they wanted the Beskar. It's not necessarily that all Mandos are wearing pure Beskar.
Right.
True.
Well, and one assumes that Mandos are still pretty rare. You don't see them.
True.
The fact that they're seeing 5 of them here has got to be it's got to be blowing these people's minds a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true. Yeah, they have established that they're rare. It's like a big deal when someone says there's a Mandalorian there.
I know I'd be peeing myself if I saw the group coming down at me. I'd just be like, yeah, I'm out of here. See ya.
And it seems like they kind of are. Don't these officers seem really nervous?
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious when it's kind of his dialogue. He's like, close all the doors.
Yeah, I think basically the common thought probably running through them is I'm not getting paid enough for this.
They don't want to.
Right. Especially now that there isn't really an empire anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
They got to be wondering, why are we even doing this?
Well,
I'm out of here.
Someone's still got to be paying them, I would imagine.
Minimum wage.
Yeah. Or, giving them a purpose.
The stormtroopers do look like OT stormtroopers. Like
yeah.
When Mando's briefly fought against stormtroopers on Rebels, it was like the more kind of goofier McQuarrie style stormtrooper helmets.
Yeah,
not as threatening.
Yeah.
Oops!
I accidentally hit the wrong
Morons.
God, all of these actors are they're acting their little hearts out. The despair they're showing. You can really see that they're, oh God, we are doomed.
Yeah.
Well, we got lots of weapons now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I copy you. Thanks for packing this up for us so nicely. Yeah, she's like, imagine what'll happen when there's even more of us with these weapons. Thank you so much for your help.
She's a really great Star Wars character. Just the right blend of humor and menace.
Yeah, it's the once Moff Gideon finds out here in a minute, it's game over.
Yeah. Those pilots are supposed to be climbing right now, but everything stays pretty level. It's not difficult for them to move around the ship.
No.
Exactly. Why didn't the pilots try to do something different, even at this point? I mean, seriously.
Okay, so I think she's talking about the Darksaber here.
She is.
Yeah.
Thing she needs in order to seize control.
Sorry, what was that? I talked over you.
Oh, that's all right. No, she's just talking about the thing she needs in order to seize control of Mandalore.
Yep. This is the way.
Yeah. And he doesn't even know it's a thing yet. That we'll find out till the end of the season. So
right.
Yeah, it's a mystery to him as well.
Because they haven't brought it up. This is the first time they brought it up in this season, right?
In this season, yeah.
Yeah, we saw it at the end of the previous season.
Right. We saw that Moff Gideon has it, who now finally appears for the first time this season.
Right. Yeah. Here he is.
But I thought for sure Bo Katan was going to drop a quote from Vader in Cloud City about altering the deal, but she just drops the "this is the way," and then it's like, dang it!
That would have been so awesome. Oh man!
I guess this is the way.
We need backup. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
no,
you're on your own, buddy.
You've already messed up, so there's helping you try to salvage. Messed up. Nah,
you live the Empire. Screw the Empire.
Two pilots are regretting their life choices now.
Right. Only for a fraction of a second.
So they must not be, as committed to it as him, obviously, but is this a deal where he wants to take down the ship? Is this like when the U.S. military pulls out of somewhere and they don't leave anything behind? They blow.
Right. Yeah. He's trying to crash the ship.
Yeah,
just so they
destroying
can't have
equipment
it.
so they can't
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
Sabotaging it or
he's
whatever.
already
maybe try to
failed
take
in
them
his
out.
mission. He's trying to at least salvage the failure by taking them out.
Mm-hmm.
And the stormtroopers, of course, are there. You know, why are they fighting to the bitter end? I mean, come on. I guess they're just dead or not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Casca Reeves is her name. Okay.
Gonna go down.
Yeah, it just
fight.
occurred to me how difficult it must be to subtitle for a scene where everybody's wearing a helmet. You can't really tell who's talking.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to the sound of their voices.
Yeah.
If you know the sound of their voices, distinguished.
Yeah, but you can't do that when you're reading subtitles.
Man.
There he goes.
We
Yeah.
just talked about his armor.
Pure Beskar.
Shane mentioned his armor is pure Beskar. So they send him in as the
Right.
blocker.
Right. So they can't put holes in him, but boy, he's going to have a lot of bruises when this is over.
Yeah, you would think, that their actual physical body would get hurt underneath, though, right?
Yeah.
Contusions or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, we've never seen his body. It's probably one big bruise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows how many scars, right?
And burn marks.
Yeah.
Question.
Where is it?
Question.
Oh, Darksaber, we've mentioned it. First time they've actually said the words in the show.
Ooh, all right, we're straightening it out. We're good.
Yeah.
What does the Mandalorian wear to bed? Does he change out of his armor and wear like pajamas or something?
Nope. We saw him last episode laid down in his bed, and he kept everything the same.
Yep. He lives in that armor. Once they put it on.
This really stink, Emily.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty
How often
nasty.
does he bathe?
Unless it's self-cleaning.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
maybe they have
does
technology then.
mechanisms in there. It's probably self-regulating.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked about all the times he took his helmet off, that he should look way nastier when he takes the helmet
Mm-hmm.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but-
looked like what was that movie? The Three Musketeers, and they
Oh, the man in the Iron Mask.
yeah.
Yep. It should be something along those lines.
Like
but I
me
mean,
and
literally,
Marvel when it
Bo
comes out
Katan
to
takes her helmet off,
Yeah.
and it's the exact same hairdo no matter what. You know?
She looks fabulous. Well, I mean, how much realism are we asking for here? Do we want realistic, or do we want Katee Sackhoff to look nice?
We need helmet hair. Come on.
No, I don't think I need helmet hair from Star Wars. There's a lot of stuff that I get out of Star Wars, but gritty realism is not one of those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we did have our first name drop of Ahsoka there. I don't know how Bo Katan knows that she's on Corvus, like she has a P.O. box there that she has to stop
Well,
by
they've
every
kept
time.
in touch. They text each
Text
other
chain.
regularly.
They've got the Rebels text chain going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. Like, hey, how's it going?
Oh no, he doesn't eat them. He plays with them.
He's like, I have remorse.
I would not leave him in a room though with one of those guys.
No.
Oh, Frog Family.
Frog
They're
family.
adorable.
Yay.
There's this junker.
Where are
again.
the actual other eggs that survived that should have hatched by now? Where are
So do you
the
think
other
the frog people were? Do you think those were costumes or was that CGI?
I think we talked about it last week, and it's a combination of costumes and puppetry, I think, is what we settled on. Because they're not, I mean, honestly, they're not quite expressive enough to be CGI. All they really do is their mouths open and close,
Yeah.
which is enough. That's all we need them to do.
Yeah, the design's really cool.
Yeah, it is a great
It looks
design.
real
Yeah.
interesting characters.
And we just got our last view of the J.C. Penney crew knit sweater on the Moncal back there. So.
Mm.
This is quite the nice looking ship. All the renovations.
Literally held together by wire there. I mean, it's like
String and chewing gum.
string and chewing.
Yeah, I would totally fly to hyperspace in that.
Yeah.
It's not going to come apart.
I think I'd get a second opinion before taking it up. That's why.
Makes the
there's a
Millennium
squiddy
Falcon
thing.
look like
live
a
squid
sign.
thing.
Uh-oh.
I'm
Oh,
like,
food for the kid.
Yep.
it looks like a miniature version of I believe his name is Starro or something.
Episode
from
of
DC.
Aliens.
Starro, yeah.
Yeah,
Starro.
Yeah.
just with some extra arms.
Where's Sigourney Weaver?
It's the
at?
thing that tried to. Oh, actually, it's the thing that was in that pit.
soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yay!
My dad.
That kid's a good sport. He really, he's loving all of it.
Yeah, so now he's at least got a destination.
And he ate it.
Of course he did.
He got his live lunch, but yeah, so now he at least has a goal of like where he's been told where to find a Jedi. Ahsoka, he knows the name of a Jedi and a planet, so he's got his next destination.
Yeah. Season 2 is really great. Really good story.
Yeah, written by Favreau.
Of course, the ending is amazing.
Bryce Dallas Howard, really quality stuff.
Well, and they're in a great spot here because they really don't have to. In the first season, they have to spend a lot of time explaining stuff.
Sure.
Explaining the setup and establishing the characters. Now we don't have to do that anymore. Now we can just get on with the storytelling.
Yeah, they're doing the more of the journey, right, to go to and kind of he can accomplish that mission of getting Grogu too.
Yeah, and there's definitely more of a through line, more of an overarching mission with individual episodes, whereas the first one it's more individual missions without, or it's just him taking on a job,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and remember, the first season was the first live action Star Wars show, so they really, I mean, it's hard to imagine them thinking nobody's going to watch this, but they really didn't know what they were going to be able to get away with and what they weren't. So I'm sure they were a little bit more tenuous in the first season.
Well, and now after seeing season 3, though, I mean, these arcs that we're seeing with these characters and some of these through lines with the Darksaber and Bo Katan and sort of what ends up eventually happening, it's really cool to sort of look back at where it's starting now and knowing where it goes. And I really think Mandalorian, this series, has done a great job of storytelling in general.
So what do we think of this kind of shift to like this bringing in of a rebel character from the animated, a whole like very strong tie? Like this is probably the strongest tie we've had to previous Star Wars in this show so far at this point.
Yeah, it seems like it's it's a change. Like at this point in the series, maybe where it's like, okay, this isn't just Favreau trying to come up with his own stories in the Star Wars universe. It's, well, what's the Filoni influence, and let's try to connect the dots, not with the movies necessarily, but what we've seen for the last decade in animated form.
Well,
sure. I part of a greater, larger tapestry in the universe there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and really, I think they've done a much better job of connecting to the Filoniverse, connecting to the Clone Wars and Rebels than they ever did with the sequel trilogy and the previous movies. They're going about it so much in a better fashion, slower, more methodical. It really makes me excited for the future.
I do want to say hi to our 2 live viewers. We have one on Facebook and one on Twitch. Feel free to put something in the chat, or something we can answer if you want. But that doesn't mean we stop talking.
No. We're just all trying to think of something to say at the same moment. I like that they're connecting to the animated series. I think it's easier for them to do because they don't really have to concern themselves so much with actors aging. They don't have the Mark Hamill problem with all the other characters that they want to use, like bringing Ahsoka in and bringing, the leadership at Lucasfilm has said that they're kind of down on the idea of recasting now, but they kind of have to with animated characters, so they're not going to have as big a problem with it.
Well, it makes me wonder how they're going to really approach Heir to the Empire. After they do Ahsoka, I think maybe we'll start getting a better clue and a little clearer picture of how that's going to go in Dave Filoni's movie, which I think has been delayed till 26 now. So we still got some setup years to go.
Yeah.
Well,
I think with the Mandalorian series, what they've done a good job of is most of the people that watched it do not know any of the backstory, right? I had to go back and look some of the stuff. I was like, oh yeah, I saw that in Clone Wars so many years ago, or Rebels or whatever. And I think they've done a pretty good job. They introduce these stories and these characters. They give some explanation. They kind of let it develop, which is good for the average person that doesn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing that Clone Wars wasn't afraid to do is while they did have those episodes that were like, okay, this is what Count Dooku's doing, this is what Grievous is doing, this is what, your familiar episode 2 and 3 characters are doing, there were also episodes where it's like, okay, who else is hanging around the galaxy during this point in the timeline? And let's see a story about them. So episodes like this, yeah, we did see Bo Katan, but really it was just kind of a fun little adventure of Mando on a new planet. So I liked it.
Yeah, the connection is there for people who care about it, but like in this episode, it doesn't. I don't know that it matters, particularly if you haven't watched. This story is more about he meets more people that dress like him.
You don't need to know that she had been in Rebels: The Clone Wars to appreciate that.
And guys, I finally understand the blue T-shirt thing now. You had, in today's episode, you had 4 people in blue armor and 1 person in grayish black armor. So now I don't feel so bad about not wearing a blue T-shirt. Thank you. I figured it out.
We're all night owls this week.
This was not intentional. Definitely not. There was no memo that went between me and James to be wearing the exact same shirt.
No.
A short sleeve and a long sleeve version, and then everyone else happened to be in blue shirts. Lily's wearing an RMFF shirt as well, a shirt, but in a slightly different color. So
everybody got the memo, but me.
It's a Portland thing. You got to keep.
Yeah, it's the time difference.
Got to keep Portland weird.
That's right. Right.
So make sure you guys go on and buy some T-shirts.
Yeah,
that's true. Yes. Do you know?
BingingTheForce.myspreadshop.com.
Yes. Yeah, and they do look particularly handsome in blue. I do have to say that they're very nice T-shirts.
Colors. You can get them in almost any color that you want.
Yes, long sleeves. You can get a hoodie, hats, mugs, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, bingingtheforce.myspreadshop.com. You can obtain this beautiful RMFF Binging the Force merch.
So
comes in many colors.
Michael, with Galacticon coming up, we do have a member of the Mandoverse who's going to be there. It's the Doctor, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him in person. I think that's really exciting.
Yep, Omid Abtahi. Yep, who played Dr. Pershing.
Yeah. Galacticon is, what is that? That's Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Yep, November 24th to 26th, Denver Tech Center, Marriott.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Good times. Same place as Starfest back in the day.
Yeah.
Wish I could be there for it. But I already went to Denver once this year. I can't do it twice in 1 year.
Actually, the website, the template for the website was designed by Jefferson here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very good job. Good job.
Is Superhero Cinema going to be there again, Michael?
Not at this point. But I mean, what I am looking to do is do live podcasting there. So, whether we might do this show there, I don't know. I'm reaching out to other, podcasters that I know who do fandom related stuff and trying to see if I can get live shows happening, there, in one of the convention rooms so that people can live stream from there and make sure that we're fully set up for that. So you can do it in front of a live audience, because that's definitely one of my goals, one of my interests in the convention. So,
that would be really neat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see which of us we can get there, and if we live stream, maybe Jefferson, maybe you can be there.
Yeah, maybe I can zoom in depending on. Yeah, I mean, I bet I could. I should be around that weekend.
Very cool.
Cool.
Well, to check out the Rocky Mountain Fan Force, whether it's at a convention or just in between episodes, you can join us on Facebook at Rocky Mountain Fan Force. Of course, we're on all your podcast clients at Binging the Force, and on YouTube at Binging the Force as well.
Yeah. And next month, we're going to try to do a barbecue, our kind of annual barbecue. And just keep an eye on the events tab for where that's going to be and what we're going to do.
No. And I've kind of put the word out there, but in case any members of other groups are watching this, other members of other fan force groups around the country, around the world, members of the 501st, the local group is the Mountain Garrison, the local Rebel Legion, the local Mandalorian Mercs, who's the Sarar clan. Any of you, if you're interested in joining the show and taking part in this, we would love to have you. So reach out to me. It's Michael Newman on Facebook, and reach out to me and see, if we can get you as part of the show, because we would love to have more voices on here.
Very cool.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be back next week with Mandalorian Chapter 12, The Siege.
Great.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
This is the way.